In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the radiator support on your Nissan Altima, located behind the front bumper. Make sure you bring your car to a local shop and have them evac the AC system. On the passenger side, there's a small access hole to the bottom of the radiator. There's a Phillips head screw in there. When you loosen that, coolant will start to drain out. Make sure you have a drip pan under it. To make the coolant drain faster, you can open the cap on the top of the radiator. Remove the 4 clips on top of the grill. Take out the 4 clips on top of the grill. There's going to be a clip on the side. Push in to release the clip and pull the grill forward. Do the same thing on the other side. There's 2 more clips on the bottom of the grill. Reach your arm inside and under. Push up on the bottom of the clip to release it. And do the same thing on the other side. Remove the grill. Behind the radiator support on the passenger side, remove the condenser line bolt using a 10mm socket. On the front side of the bumper support, remove the 10mm bolt on the condenser lines. While holding the line, I'm prying the clip off to the side, being very careful not to mar up the lines. They're aluminum, they're very fragile. Once you have the lock off to the side, go ahead and pull your hoses out. On both sides where we just took bolts out, go ahead and pop the lines out. Remove the AC pressure sensor connector. Squeeze the little tab on the top and pull. There's 2 tabs on either side of the condenser. Push them in and pull up on the condenser to release it from the clips. Do the same thing on the other side. I was just using a trim tool. You could also use a flat blade screwdriver to make it easier for yourself. Once you have the clips off, remove the condenser. Remove the 2 bolts on the air box. They're 10mm. Remove the air box, push in, tilt up, and pull out. Take the bracket off. Using a 10mm socket. There's another bracket in the middle. Same thing, 10mm bolt. Remove the upper radiator hose clamp. Squeeze it and pull it back. On the lower passenger side area, there's going to be a hose clamp for the radiator hose. Squeeze the clamp and pull the hose. Watch out, there will be coolant in that hose. There's another clamp for the CVT hose. Pull the clamp back and remove the hose. On the top driver's side of the radiator, there's one more CVT hose clamp. Pull the clamp down using a long pair of needle nose pliers, and then pull the hose off. Remove the clips on the radiator isolator bushings. Pull that off. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull the radiator forward. When you pull it forward, this hose should disconnect and remove your radiator. Using a trim tool, I'm going to push the fender liner back to gain access to the 10mm bolt that holds on the corner of the bumper. Remove that 10mm bolt, and then do the same thing on the other side. Remove the 3 Phillips head screws on the underside of the bumper. And there's 3 more on the other side. Do the same thing. Remove the 5 clips attaching the engine's blast shield to the front bumper. Remove the 2 clips on the front bumper. Remove the front bumper, grab on the side, pull out, and release the clips. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull the bumper forward. If you have fog lights, you will need to disconnect them here and here. Remove the front bumper impact foam. Pull it straight off. Remove the ambient air temperature sensor harness from the front impact bumper. I'm using a trim tool. Just pry the clips out. Remove the 3 13mm bolts on the impact bar. And there's 3 more on the other side. Remove the impact absorber. Take off the front grille air diffusers. Do the same thing on the other side. There's a 10mm bolt on the driver's side fender for the headlight. Remove that. Remove the 3 10mm bolts on the top of the headlight. Pull the headlight straight out. I'm going to undo this harness. Remove the connectors on all of the bulbs on the back of the driver's side headlight. I'm doing this because I was not able to get enough room with the headlight because there's a ground strap that is holding it on. This connector up here has a little lock tab on it. Push up this way and then squeeze the tab in, pull off. And then we have 2 harness clips back here. Using a trim tool connector, I'm going to remove the clip on this harness. And there's 1 more right next to it. Push the tabs in and pull out. Take the headlight harness totally off of the headlight. There's one more pinch connector up front. Pinch it and push out. And remove the rest of the harness. Remove the 3 bolts on the top of the passenger side headlight. My 3rd bolt is snapped on this car. There's one more 10mm bolt on the side for the headlight. Remove that. On this passenger side headlight, pull straight out, and I was able to just put it up here out of the way without having to remove it. Going around the whole outside of the radiator support, we're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers and push in the harness wherever you see a connector or a clip. There's ones hidden up under here. One more here. One right next to it. And one down here. One more up here. Using a trim tool or a flat pick, remove the fan connectors. Squeeze the top of the connector and pull out. I'm squeezing here, or pushing here, and then pulling out. There's one more. Same thing. Move over here onto the passenger side, and there's one clip. And there's one clip right on the back of the hood latch assembly. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. Squeeze it, push it through. Remove this yellow connector, just push back. There's one more clip on the passenger side that's hiding under the coolant hose. Remove the 3 12mm bolts holding on the engine latch. On the back of the bracket, there is a cable. To remove it, slide it out of position, push the cable forward, and get this little ball out of the position. Goes in, slips under here, and that little ball slips in under where this spring is, right there. Before removing the bolts on your radiator support, make sure you support the hood on something that will not be coming off the car. Remove the bolt on the top of the radiator support. It's a 13mm. There's one more just under it. And then there is 2 more on the bottom. Do the same thing on the other side. These are all 13mm bolts. Remove the radiator support. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to swap the fan assembly from the old radiator support to the new one. Install your bolts. Tighten them down. There's two 10mm bolts on this sensor. We're going to move it over to the new assembly. Put on the new one. Start the nuts and then tighten them down. We're going to remove the hood prop and the bushing. And the last thing you're going to move over is the hood prop retainer from the old assembly. It's a little pinch clip on bottom. Pinch it and pull up, and then install it into the new one. Make sure you switch over your lower radiator support bushings. Put your ambient temp sensor back through the hole. Fish the wire through and install the radiator support. Make sure the headlight harness is installed in its proper spot. There's a clip on the harness. You can push that through. This connector gets fished through the hole in the front. Do the same thing on the other side with the headlight harness. Install the two top bolts just to hold the radiator support in place. Leave them finger tight for now. Go back through and install the harness onto the back of the radiator support. Push in all the clips and connectors. There's two connectors for the fans. Make sure your hood cable goes through the hole in the front. Second fan connector. Sensor under the hood prop. Once you push this yellow connector on far enough, it will spring load forward and click in. Keep going down the line, installing your push clips. Install the rest of the radiator support bolts. Snug them down. Do the same thing on the other side. At this time, I'm going to put my hood prop back up. Reinstall the hood latch. Once the hood latch cable is in, reinstall your hood latch bolts. Snug them down. Install the bumper support. Install the 3 nuts for the bumper support. Using a 13mm socket on a 3-inch extension, snug the bolts down. Do the same on the other side. Put the front impact absorber foam back into the front impact bar. Install the connectors back into the headlight on the driver's side. Quarter turn clockwise. Install the harness back onto the headlight. Install the harness in the front. What are we doing here? Install the headlight back into place. Install the 3 10mm bolts on the top of your headlight. Start them by hand. We'll go back and snug them down. And one all the way up top. Install one more 10mm on the side of the headlight. Go ahead and snug them all down. And then do the same thing on the other side. Three 10mm bolts on top. The third one on this car is broken for me, and one more on the side by the fender. Snug them down. Install the ambient air temp sensor. Install the bumper cover. Line it up on the side of the fender. Snap it into place. Install the 2 clips that hold on the front bumper. There's one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side, same spot. Install the 10mm bolt in the side fender of the bumper. Start it by hand. Snug it down. Put Push the inner fender liner back into place. Install the engine splash shield. There are 5 clips in the front to the bumper. Install the 3 Phillips head screws on each side, securing the front fender liner to the bumper. Do the same thing on the other side. Install the radiator. Make sure that the pins are sitting in those bushings. Install the upper radiator hose onto the radiator. Install the radiator support bushing and clip. Do the same thing on the other side. Install your air guards. Do the same thing on the other side. Install the new condenser. Slide it into place. Push the condenser down into place until it clicks. Install the pressure sensor connector. Put a little bit of AC oil around your O-rings. Install the line set. Push it down into place. Install the bolt. And torque it to 6.5 foot-pounds. Install the 10mm bolt on the radiator hose bracket. Snug it down. Install the 10mm bolt for the radiator hose bracket. Snug it down. Put a little bit of oil around the 2 line connections and install it into the condenser line set. Install the 10mm bolt. Snug it down. And torque it to 6.5 foot-pounds. Using a pair of 90° pliers, I'm going to reinstall the lower hose clamp. Remove the cap off the CVT hose on the radiator. Push the hose all the way up onto the fitting. Using a set of long needle nose pliers. Grab the clamp. Move it up. Install the CVT hose. And install the hose clamp. Install the lower radiator hose. Slide the clamp forward. Install the grill. Line up all the clips. Push in. Install the 4 clips back into the top of the grill. Install the air box, push it in, twist down, and install your 10mm bolts. Snug down the bolts. Now that we've completed the radiator, it's time to bleed the system. Fill it with coolant using a funnel. Start the car and let it bubble out. Once the bubbles stop coming out, your system is bled. Go ahead and bring your car to the shop and have them recharge your AC system.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.